Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Plastic Underground. Caleb here. Wanted to check in with you guys. I know I haven't put a video out in a while. Um, I feel like I always say I have stuff in the works, but I legitimately always have stuff in the works. I just have to get videos like finished and edited and made. So this is me trying to start that process off. I wanted to show you guys some stuff that I've been up to. Some stuff that I haven't been making videos on. A couple things with the room build here and there, not anything too crazy. But I also took on a pretty in-depth project running a Fallout RPG that I host like once a month, and pretty much a lot of my time has been going into that stuff. So I want to show you some of that stuff because that stuff is really cool. Been using a lot of cool like new tech to make a lot of fun stuff for that game, and I've been designing a lot of like other cool stuff for that game. So I want to show you some of that stuff, but first let's show you some of the cool new room build stuff that you haven't seen yet.
Train to the Plastic Underground. Approaching the station. Please stand away from the platform edge.
All right, so first things first. Finally got this up and installed. This is a Millennium Falcon light. It's a lot smaller than it's supposed to be. This is the only real space that I have to put this light up. Thought about putting it above the door, but with the ceiling and stuff, I won't have room. I still don't know if I want to add pads to the door frame or not, but finally got it installed in here. This was legitimately the first thing I printed on my FDM printer that I got last Black Friday. So wow, we're almost to the next Black Friday. So yeah, I legitimately printed that thing first on that printer. Yeah, so it's just printed, sanded, some clear plastic behind it, and then I tied in LEDs to these LEDs in this box here. Switch the wiring so that it runs different color patterns. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's my shelf. I put all my space money, space credits in some of my Plastic Underground whiskey glasses. This I recently finished painting. This is my Star Trek Wrath of Khan Kirk and Spock. I printed that. Kirk and Spock are resin, and then the base and everything is PLA. And you can't really see it, but this is a pretty cool file. Even the back has like a pretty big scale Enterprise. So it was pretty intense to print that and paint it. It took me a while. And sometimes I just don't make videos on stuff because I like doing stuff for me. I also need like a hobby distraction from making videos sometimes, which I know sounds weird, but yeah. The other thing that's new on the bench, I kind of rearranged everything, but Will and I finished the Lego Orca set. I also bought an LED kit for it and installed it. It's a pretty sweet LED kit. yeah, pretty sweet kit, pretty fun. Next to it is my Jaws 3D print I did. Shows like the inner workings of the actual shark for the movie, which I think is a fun little print. A lot of the stuff is off the bench because I have a bookshelf over on this wall now. TV is here. You've seen that before. I don't know if you've seen this display piece here. This is basically my Star Trek Survivors video game style pad. It's got Cal's saber, that's all 3D printed, and it's got his blaster, which is 3D printed. These are actually resin prints, and very worried about these falling off the wall and getting smashed. This piece of Beskar is PLA. These credits here are resin too. I also 3D printed PLA hangers for these guys, and these are bolted directly into the wall, so they're pretty on there. They're pretty sturdy. This even has lights and stuff in it that I just never charge it, but yeah, so that's on there. It's got its own little display base, which is pretty sweet. My alien head still in the ceiling. This is foam. I have a video on my channel building that. This hand 3D printed this file. It's a little cool add-on. So I might do his other hand. Eventually I'll have this all finished off. I bought these ceiling, well, I'm using them as ceiling panels. I think these go in your attic, and they cap off your insulation. So if you're in your attic, there's the floor beams, you have blown insulation in there. These, I think, go on top of that to keep the blown insulation from coming like up into the room. But I put them up on the ceiling, and as you can see, they look pretty cool. They look pretty spacey. So the plan is to do that through the whole ceiling. These are like $4.85 a piece, something like that. They're under $5 a piece, and I think they're they're probably like 4 feet by 2 feet. So pretty good. Basically every time you go to the hardware store, just pick up a couple. So yeah, that's my plan for that. The rest of the ceiling is not done, but I put this shelf up, and I had a lot of we'll get to it, but a lot of my Fallout miniatures were here. But I put up another shelf, so now I have a lot of my Star Wars figures. These guys up here are all 3D printed. Those are all 3D printed and painted by me. Most of those are on my channel. A couple other things down here, some actual collectibles back there. But yeah, this light is actually on a motion detector. That's supposed to be on a motion detector. There we go. I can change the colors of that. I put new LEDs in that. This legitimately was I think it was, so I do a lot of work for like dealerships and stuff. This was in the garbage one day, and it had like the old Allstate logo on it. So they've been using it in the dealership, and it was broke, and they threw it out. So of course, because I'm a hoarder, I grabbed it and took it apart, put brand new LED strips behind it, put my company in vinyl, and now it works great, and it looks cool in the basement, and it lights up when you walk in front of it, and I can change the color of it, and so that's pretty cool. But then over here are all my shelves, all my Fallout stuff. So these are all legitimate buildings, and tabletop stuff that I have built by hand and use in our Fallout campaign that I've been running. Yeah, actually all the miniatures are up there too. So yeah, we can look at a few of these things. The first thing I ever built was this red rocket. It's way more impressive when it's all together on the table, but I have it kind of stored for now. I think the second thing I built was this little house and this barn. These barn silos are Pringle cans with some corrugated paper. So those are pretty cool. This house is pretty cool. This whole house comes, let's see if I can do this. This whole house comes apart and you have like different floors and everything is kind of laid out in there. But yeah, all these miniatures were all 3D printed and painted. I kind of have them sectioned by like factions. So these are all my raiders. We got super mutants up here. Oh. Some creatures. Institute people. Robots. And then just some other random stuff. The game takes place like in my local area, so a lot of the buildings and stuff are based on like actual buildings that are like in my area. So yeah, even this this is like a full church build I did. This giant thing here, we hardly ever use it. This is legitimately like a full dice tower. That's supposed to look like the vault in the game. There's a sewer grate on top. There's a sewer grate on top of this road, and when you put the dice in there, they roll out through the vault door into the gated area for the vault. Then I also have this drain pipe that I can open and close. And if I want to do like a roll for the table, I will roll through the drain pipe and it rolls out and down the stairs and onto the table for everybody to see. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's really big. It takes up a lot of room and I very rarely get to use it. But the other fun thing is I get to build these little like scenes. So this was like an office. And then all the stuff is 3D printed. And then I can kind of control like what's on the terminal, what's in the desk, all that kind of fun stuff. That's actually bad in Fallout. That's not good. That's not a natural 20. That's basically a 1. So. So, yeah. This is a current campaign, so I don't really want to move it too much. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but this base is just a piece of insulation foam that I bought at Lowe's. You can buy like those hobby size, and yeah, they work really good for this kind of stuff. This is a swamp setting, so I actually like blow torched into the foam and melted it so that I could paint it and then pour in some green tinted resin to make it look pretty swampy. These little cattails are a little scenic kit that I bought. Put those in, and then all these little Mirelurks and those kind of stuff are all 3D printed and painted. I made these trees with some wire and hot glue, and I put some moss and stuff to look like Spanish moss, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like my favorite base that I've built so far, but that's also just because it's like new and current. Move this a little bit. So this is another base. This is just some floor mat foam. You've seen me use this for lots of stuff. I use this legitimately for weapons and cosplay and stuff, but you can also use it for game bases. I put like silicone caulk on here, and then I kind of like troweled it off to make this road. And then while it was still wet, I sprinkled a bunch of sand and stone, all that kind of stuff on there. And then I painted it to make it look like a wasteland and an old road. These are legitimately like all videos and stuff that I've watched on YouTube to like learn techniques and that kind of stuff. So there's tons of stuff on YouTube, obviously. And then that's actually a newer mat we've been using. This is the basic one that I first built, and it worked pretty good. I used it for a lot of different stuff. I think the back is like, yeah, the back has got like silver on it. I used it for a like a science lab flooring for like a big science lab. That worked pretty good too. But yeah, let me show you this red rocket. Legitimately, the way that I built this red rocket is so that I could have the small style garage, just the single garage with the gas station. I think even in this, some of this stuff has not been used. It's kind of falling apart, but there's magnets up here. I think even this, I think even on this single car garage version, the rocket sits on top. But these are not gonna cooperate with me. They've been sitting. All of this stuff too is just it's just foam board from like the dollar store. It's a really cheap, easy material to use, but it does warp a little bit. But yeah, so you get the point. So even the small garage, the rocket sits on top sometimes. But the cool thing is if you take this side piece off, then this full roof slides on there where that was, and then this piece here gets slid under here, and then your rocket would go up here on these magnets when it works. I was thinking about like 3D printing a new version of this, just this rocket, this stand anyway. This was kind of a hard shape to figure out, like the curve of these and the curve of these on the bottom. It like comes up. There's 4 of them that have to come up and hit perfectly on these thrusters. It wasn't super easy, but it looks pretty pretty cool when we used it. The other thing is so this roof piece slides down in, and then you can take this roof off, and then you can see fully in the garage. So because this was the first thing that I made, there's a lot of stuff obviously that I would like to do better. But there's also stuff that, like, you know, because it was all made by hand at that point. I mean, I have a couple 3D print, like the armor stand in there is 3D printed. But like, this is just foam board from the dollar store. Even these is all foam board, just cut. These are foam board with a little bit of wire. And then these awnings are just paper. And then I printed out some little signs, and there's a silver shroud sign here. The cone is 3D printed, but even this base is foam board that I've carved, painted, added some grasses, put some dried, crushed up leaves in the corners. Yeah, it's like super fun. Even the tile, I remember painstakingly making the tile out of paper on top of the foam, and then I would cut out like little sections to make it look like the linoleum tile was all chewed up and kicked around, and yeah. It's funny because this build is so big, but like you still didn't like have a lot of room to put like a desk or a bed or whatever is back there. I think that's like the office. Yeah. So there's some fun stuff in here. Even now, like, I have other files I could put in here. I have like the slop sink, and I have like the tool cases and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's it, you guys. That is some cool stuff I've been working on down here. I have also been working on props and stuff, so stay tuned for that. I just wanted to show you some of the cool stuff I've been working on that you haven't seen, and then I haven't showed you how I've made it. If you want to see me make some of this stuff, let me know. I'm always making new stuff. It's a little tricky. I have to show you kind of after we have game sessions. Sometimes I'm like months away from where we're playing, and I don't want to spoil the party. So, yeah, let me know, and I can show you how I make some buildings and some fun stuff like that. So, anyway, there's an update for you on the basement and what I've been doing. So, thanks for checking in. I'll see you soon. I promise.